Hey everyone, so in today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to create talking head videos. Now, I've been making talking head videos for about 5 years now, and it really is the ultimate way for you to deliver information on a platform like YouTube. Not only are these types of videos easy to make, they're also the best way to deliver information, as well as, in my opinion, to build a personal brand. Over the last 5 years, I've built up my channels almost exclusively from talking head videos. So I would say I do have quite a bit of experience, and hopefully I'd like to say that I have sort of mastered this skill. So behind me is one of my own setups, so I will show you guys exactly what I use. But of course, it doesn't need to be this complicated. You can literally create talking head videos from any room in your house, as long as you have a good natural light source, some type of camera, and of course, yourself. So in this video, I'll talk about the different equipment you need from beginner to advanced, how to set up a scene, aka what to put in the background for it to look good, whether or not you need a script, and how you can actually deliver the words to the camera, as well as my tips and tricks. So in terms of equipment, for a beginner, the only thing you're going to need is some type of phone or camera that can record video. A talking head video is just going to be sort of like this, where you are staring directly at the camera, and you guys can use an iPhone, you guys can use any Sony or Canon or Nikon camera. I do recommend getting a microphone at least, so I will put links down below to some of the microphones I like. And you'll want some type of thing to hold the camera. So in my case, a tripod. That's going to be a more beginner setup. If you want to get more advanced, you guys can get lights like this. You guys can have a table setup also in front of you, completely optional. You guys can have a teleprompter as well. That's the thing in the back right there. You guys can have external microphones. You can also have props in the background, so it can get quite complex. And what I recommend doing is go look at your favorite YouTubers, look at the sets that they have built out, and sort of take that as inspiration for your own. So in terms of talking head video equipment, I'd say that the most important thing, if you want to get a good depth of field, aka you want to get that separation from the back, right? Like as you guys can see right now, I'm in focus, but the background is not, and that gives you a more professional look. The way you're able to accomplish this is by using some type of a good camera paired with a great lens. The lens is the most important thing to achieve this look, right? So for talking head videos, I almost exclusively use prime lenses. These are lenses that do not allow you to actually zoom in or out. They are fixed. But the good thing about these is that they have a bigger aperture, meaning they let more light in, and they also help separate you from the background. So I'm shooting at f2, which is a very large aperture. The smaller the number, the bigger the aperture and the better the blur. So that would be my recommendation. If you want to get a professional looking video, get any camera that can, you can change the lens on, and then buy a prime lens with a big aperture. Right now I'm using the Sony a7S III. This is a very expensive camera. It's about $3,500 just for the body itself. But I also recommend something like an a7 III. That's about maybe $1,800. And there's also the Sony like a6000, a6300, a6400. All those cameras are great. The body does not matter as much as the lens. This lens I'm using right now is the Sony 20mm f2. This is a great lens, but in my opinion, my favorite for talking head videos is going to be the Sony 28mm f2 lens. So I just realized the lens I'm filming on right now is the Sony 20mm f1.8, not the f2. So just a quick correction. If you want the ultimate setup, just get any Sony camera, get the Sony 28mm f2 lens, and you should be good. Now, of course, with talking head videos, your audio, what you're saying, is going to be very important because that's how the information is delivered. So I recommend picking up any type of dedicated microphone if you can. Now, if you're in a quiet room like I am right now, your iPhone should be good, but I'll say that the mics on most cameras are not that good. iPhones and smartphones tend to have, pretty good microphones, but these cameras, like the one I'm using right now, are not that good. So you want to get maybe like a Rode video mic. You guys can get the Rode Wireless Go's. There are more professional like Sennheiser mics. As long as you have any type of dedicated microphone, it's going to sound a lot better. There's even really cheap lavalier microphones that you can pick up for like $10 to $20. I actually have a Sony one that I really recommend, so I'm gonna put that down in the description. As far as the tripod, it really does not matter. As long as you have something that can hold your camera up, then you're good to go. Now, in terms of the scene, right? What you want to have in the background. So for most of you guys, if you don't want lights like this, I recommend prioritizing the natural light coming in. So in my case, I have a window right here. You're gonna want to face the window so it's going to light you really well and have your camera facing away from that window at you. Whatever's in the background doesn't matter too much. I'd say that the most important thing is going to be the light hitting yourself, because it needs to look good for the viewer. If it doesn't look good, then people aren't going to watch your video. In terms of the background, like I said earlier, check out some of your favorite YouTubers, look at what sets they have and see if you can use those for inspiration. A lot of people like to have Edison light bulbs in the back. Those look pretty good. You can have fake plants. You can have a painted wall. You can have wallpaper. You can even have your computer set up. So for example, I've filmed many videos just like this with my desk and monitor in the background, and it looks great. As long as it's a pretty clean background, then it's going to look okay. The more important thing is just going to be the light on you and the audio quality. So yeah, really, if you're in a house, apartment, whatever, there's gonna be tons and tons of different places that you can film your talking head videos. Now let's get into how you actually film. This part's gonna be a little bit more like behind the scenes style. So you guys can see that for my setup, it's a bit more advanced. I have a tripod right here. I have my camera connected to it. This is also another Sony a7S III with the 28mm f2 lens. This is the Glide Gear TMP100 teleprompter. Definitely recommend having it if you're going to be doing a lot of talking head videos. It saves you a lot of time with actually filming. This is my Sennheiser mic. It is connected directly to my camera right here. And over here I have one light. This is the Godox VL200 and I have an umbrella to soften the lights. And over here I have another light. This is the VL300 by Godox with this sort of like octabox looking thing to soften the light. And both of these are on light stands. For some of my videos, I like to film with a desk in front of me so that I can have my computer there, but that's completely optional. You don't need to have that. You can just have what's in the back. And for my background, for this particular shot, I have an LED light. I have these two light bulbs that are different colors that I can change with a remote. It does add a cool little glow in the background. And I do have a floor lamp right here. I also have the black painted wall, and I have this really uncomfortable couch, but I think it does look pretty good, the brown color in contrast with the black wall. And yeah, besides that, it's pretty simple. I'm just gonna be sitting right here in my chair. You'll probably be sitting, or you can stand. I'll be looking at the camera that is right there. And in my case, I'm using a teleprompter app. It's called Prompt Smart Pro. It is about $15, but easily worth it. You guys don't need to use a teleprompter if you're just starting out. You guys can just write some bullet points on a piece of paper or on your computer, and then just look at the bullet point, talk to the camera, look at the bullet point, talk to the camera, and so on. That's basically how I started off doing my talking head videos. So now in terms of delivery, let's talk about the things you should and shouldn't do. First, you should definitely look at the camera lens itself, right? You don't want to look off to the side or to the top or put like a piece of paper underneath, because it's going to be very obvious that you're not looking at the camera. So looking at the camera, not looking at the camera. You're also going to want to film in a quiet room. This is very important for your audio, and you're going to want to make sure that the light is good and that it's properly exposed. Know that it's okay for you to mess up when you're talking, right? Because with editing, you can literally cut out anything. And if you guys were to look at some of the shots I've taken, I mess up a lot and I have to cut out a lot of stuff. So just know it's okay to mess up, because you can just start over and cut out the stuff that you messed up on. What I like to do is I like to do one long take. So I'll turn on my camera. I'll make sure it looks good by filming a quick test sequence to make sure the audio is good, to make sure the lighting is good, and that the composition is good. And after that, I'll turn it on, I'll start recording, and the goal is to film the entire video in one go. You should not be restarting the camera every single time you mess up, because that's gonna make your life really hard when you're editing the video. So yeah, just leave it on and start talking. It'll take a lot of practice to actually get comfortable doing this, but after some time, you will become a pro and you're gonna get a lot more efficient at filming. I'd say that before, when I was starting out, maybe I would have to film for 1 hour to get about 10 minutes of usable footage. Whereas right now, I might have to film maybe 20-25 minutes to get 10 minutes of usable footage. In terms of scripting, whether or not you want to do it word for word or do bullet points, that's really going to depend on your own style and what you're comfortable with. So for people that are very good at talking to the camera or public speaking, then yes, you might be able to write down some bullet points, whatever research you want to do, have that there for you to reference, and then just look at one and then freestyle, right? For people that aren't as comfortable doing that, you may want to write out a word for word script. And if you do that, yes, it does take longer to prep for it, but when you're actually filming the video, it's normally a lot easier. If you are doing word for word, there are two ways to do it. One is you memorize the sentence and then you say it, memorize the sentence, and then you say it. This takes a long time. Or if you really want to speed things up, you should definitely invest in a teleprompter. So like I said, the TMP100 is a great one. There's also smaller and cheaper ones like this one. This is like a small rig teleprompter that actually connects directly to the lens. So many options for you guys. It doesn't really matter which one you use. I've heard good things about the Parrot as well. That's a cheap and very portable teleprompter. And I also think that one is really good for beginners. So that's the whole filming process, you guys. Once you get the video filmed, let's say you have maybe 45 minutes of footage and you want to, cut it down to 10 minutes, right? So you'll bring it over to your computer, to whatever editing software you want to use. And from there, you're going to cut the dialogue. And if you guys have ever watched any of my other videos, I cut the dialogue pretty much after every sentence. So I try and, reduce any ums or pauses or any awkward moments like that, because you need to make it so that the video just flows, right? If there are awkward pauses, people are going to check out and they're going to go to a different video. So that's what I've been doing with my talking head videos. I'll cut after most sentences so that there's no pause between the sentences. And yeah, that's just what has worked for me, but you guys are going to experiment and see what works best for your talking style. I know this video is more about filming versus like the post-editing process, but in editing, you actually are going to want to add text. You might want to add some B-roll footage, some stock footage, whatever it is to sort of spruce up the video and make it so that it's a little bit more enjoyable to watch. Because with talking head videos, yes, it can get a little bit boring because it's just literally the person talking to the camera. Normally, it is good to add at least some types of elements to your video. And that, you guys, is how you film and edit a talking head style video for a platform like YouTube. I've been doing this for so many years and I thought I'd just share with you guys, and I hope you guys found the video helpful. Feel free to reference this video at any point. Good luck with your own talking head videos. And if you guys want to support the channel, please make sure to hit that like button and also subscribe for more videos just like this. This whole channel is dedicated to giving you guys free guides and tutorials to help with entrepreneurship. Anyways, thank you so much for your time and I'll see you in the next video.